Is that your wash bag?
Sorry. No, it's okay.
Is that your personal?
Yeah. Live.
We're live.
You're live.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Give yourself a big round of applause for being here. All right. We are now live, and you can see here, Suraj has got me on stereo right now. I'm going to be sharing up here what's going on the screen, and we have people who are going to be tuning in who'll be posting as well. Oh, look, we've got a big tunnel thing going on right there. So we are, first of all, going to give everyone a chance to have a quick introduction by saying, here's who I am, here's my business, and here is also my biggest learning or aha from the last 2.5 days together. All right, so we're going to do it pretty quick to head around. Michelle is adding in people's different web pages as well, so that we have to that. Yeah, don't worry, you can actually join afterwards, but we will be posting things into the Facebook group as we go as well. So here is the Facebook group, right? Where we swap things we go. So let's kick it off with Michelle. Michelle, who are you?
Oh my God! Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Clark. I'm the Global Partnerships Manager for GSU. I'm here from Freckleton.
What's your biggest learning from the weekend?
Oh my God, this weekend was totally amazing. What was my biggest takeaway? Well, actually, like, I've just fallen in love with South Africa all over again. It's probably one of my biggest takeaways. And I keep telling people it's my country, and they say, why don't you move here? And I've been saying the crime rate's so high, and everyone's been saying it's not. So I'm kind of like maybe thinking about whether I've got itchy feet at the moment.
Moving to South Africa?
I'm thinking about itchy feet, yeah, maybe just for a little bit of time to see how it works.
Maybe so nothing about the speaker or anything?
You caught me while I'm in the middle of doing all that.
Okay, fine. All right, let's move on. Let's move to Louise.
Kevin, got actually 2 businesses which we've just amalgamated, Unlimited Badges and Signs. Doing button badges.
Louise, tell everyone how many badges you sell every year right now.
Between about, depending if it's the World Cup, 6 million, but probably about between 3 and 4 million.
3 and 4 million, including those ones you have on at the moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Louise. Okay.
And what I learned, can I say?
Oh, yeah.
Is that you don't actually have to do it alone. There's people that have gone before you and have done the path for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's
awesome.
Really
very cool. Mark, squeeze in somehow. You're far too far away. Look at Kevin next. Kevin, would you like to share?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Kevin Bruce. I'm Lisa's partner, and we've been in badges since 27 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to the growth. I just came this morning, so I haven't got much to say about anything. Because I've
Has Louise been excited?
Yeah, that's
ridiculously excited.
Suspiciously excited. Yeah, what is going on here? Welcome.
Cool, thanks.
Fabulous. Okay. Kevin,
We have 2 companies. One's called True Impact, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's in financial services. But
by the way, for everyone who's talking, do project. I think you're talking to someone.
Okay, cool. Am I doing a good job? Okay, a little bit louder. Okay. And so the company is called Procure Sense. It's a new company that we started up, and we've landed a deal with a major corporate in South Africa. And what they've asked us to do is effectively transform R1 billion of their supply chain spend, their procurement spend, and move it from large corporates to small black businesses. And so I was sharing with Roger yesterday, the challenge with that is that we're effectively creating 3 business models in one. Because one is you need to first find all of the SMEs or find the opportunities within the supply chain. You need to have a system around that. The second is then to find the SMEs to link them to that opportunity. And then the third is most of them will be small corporates or small businesses. And we're trying to 10x all of these businesses to effectively shift R1 billion a year. And that's why I need his help.
All right. Cool. So biggest thing for you on the weekend?
Biggest thing was I loved the parachute concept and the flower concept. Those were the 2 big things for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've just sent the link. Danny, can you paste that link? Yeah. Still waiting. Okay. So just check. Penny. I'll just message though. Yeah, this is on, so it'll automatically go up. I'll just message Carl. So you pasted the link, Danny, the one which I sent you. Okay. Do you see the link which I pasted? Can you pass that link to Penny? I'll have to check whether how long. Yeah, it is. Just share that link for now until I check with them. It says it's live now. Can you check? Yeah. Refresh. Okay.
Okay, you're live. Awesome. There's a lag.
Okay, hi, I'm Myrna de Hart from, I've got a holding company called the Hart Training Pty Limited with two brands. One is IMAX Services, where I do entrepreneurial development consulting, and the other one is called Pillow and Hart, which is a social enterprise where we're designing an international fashion and decor brand.
And your biggest?
Biggest is slow down to go faster.
Hi, I'm Glenn Finnick from Magnetic Storm. It's the third or fourth one I've been to now. And the biggest one for me is that every single time you hear something new, not to mention the fact that every single time Roger adds something new. And probably the ones that came through the most was the flower concept again, and also just keep it simple.
Hi, I'm Jane Stevenson, also with Magnetic Storm, but also starting a new company called Magnetic Minds, which is taking the talent dynamics and flow consulting, performance consulting, etc., into coaching. And I guess the biggest aha moment for me was our business model is about to change yet again. Thanks, Roger.
By the way, all that AI stuff and everything, all the stuff you're doing on that, even on the...
Precisely. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ian Hawthorne from HMC. We have a couple of companies. We manufacture electrical cable in Croatia. We are partners in Wealth Migrate. We've also invested in entrepreneurship resorts. We also get involved in the ESCOM projects. We have fiber optic projects. We do infrastructure, civils. So we're involved in a variety of projects. I think the most thing that stood out for me was the augmented reality, being able to train people on site without having to drag them off the projects and keeping them remote, really.
Hi, I'm Jamie, and I'm a holistic cancer doctor. Our business is You Are the Cure. And my biggest takeaway, I would have to say, is just how massive, when you shift your perception, how easy it becomes to change your vehicle, which I've been on a bicycle for way too long, to a rocket ship. So yeah, that would be my takeaway.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. The business that I own is Michelle is Your Coach.
So I'm here because, yes, I just started my business and I kind of got out of everything that I'm in the right place at the right time.
Hi, my name is Devian, Governor, ex-Capital. This is my partner, William Butler. We started a new venture in biotech. I'll let him give you more information on that.
I think you should cover the biotech bit.
No.
I'll cover the software bit.
Okay. It's a biotech manufacturer of monoclonal antibodies, vaccines, and probably insulins in South Africa for export into global markets. Yeah, and we right down to the final wire with partners for technology, and it's looking promising.
So Devian's the brains in the partnership. I'm just the accountant. So the business I'm coming from is actually a software as a service business in the mining space. The biggest learning and takeaway for me in this past couple of days was when we came into the market, we were disrupting the mining space that we took our product into. But I realized that if I want to stay relevant, I need to disrupt my own business. I can't be writing version 4 of my platform. I've got to be writing version 5 or version 6 now to stay relevant.
Hi, my name is Lynn Scullard, also known as Scully. My business, Scully Scooters, is predominantly a youth development training organization that takes people off the pavement and puts them into jobs. We've currently put 1,600 people into jobs, and Scully Scooters was born in Bali, in fact, with Roger. So 5 or 6 years later, I think it's time to take its next step and move that 1,600 people to times 10 or 20 in some way or another. My biggest learning was, for me personally, to stop adding things and possibly to start taking away some things.
Hello everyone, I'm Danny. I'm the Community Relationship Manager for Crystal Circle, and really excited to be here with all our wonderful new crystals and also some very, very old ones in terms of time frame, not age. Take it as you will. And just my biggest takeaway was emphasize. So sometimes, there's we always focus on growth, but sometimes it's really important to just slow down and grow stuff and improve stuff and make sure that your service levels are incredible. And I think that's what we really want to do for our next year. So really excited to be here as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Moore, and my business is in the mobile telecommunications retail stores. My business is over 17 years old, and I'm at a position where I may or may not keep it, whichever works out being the best. Either would be good, none would be a negative. And I'm here to find out what my next step would be, because I've grown comfortable in the position that I'm in, and I need to move in some direction and hopefully forward. And I'm here with my partner, Arjan, who we work very much together in my business and in the business that he's developing, which is in personal transformation and adult education and development. And I'm very passionate about that. And Arjan can tell you some more about that.
Hello everybody, my name is Adrian or Adrian, whichever you choose. I'm a Dutchman, you can hear. So my funky little business is called Sprudello. It's been a passion all my life to add transformation to hard skill training. So to turn people into the kind of person who can do. Because it's easy to teach people skill, but then they don't know how to handle crisis within that skill. So that's what I do. I've invented a whole lot of new stuff. I've invented new words, which you will hear about. Sprudello is a word. It's a German word, sprudel, which is a sparkling water. And when I wanted to do that website, it was not available, and the guy wanted to charge me $10,000. So I said, so I changed the word Sprudello. So there you go. So we're inventing a whole new way of doing business. And as you can see, I'm not one of the youngest. So there's specifically people of our age that are stuck, and they need to redo their minds into a new mindset and a new way of being and living. Well, my time is finished. Thank you.
Hi, Merlijn. I'm a fellow Dutchie here. My company is called Kamjana, and I work in e-learning. So I create a lot of courses, both internal for corporates and external for entrepreneurs. One of the biggest things this weekend was really, I spend a lot of time creating content, but I very rarely get to experience people go through transformations like I had the pleasure of doing this weekend. So my biggest pivot is I'm going to go more into a connected learning and a blended learning approach of online and offline to really get the best of both worlds.
I'm Dutch. I said fellow Dutchie. And mine's Australian. Sorry, what was that about the rugby? So Sandra, General Manager for Entrepreneurs Institute and CFO for Genius U and Entrepreneur Resorts. So yeah, it's great. I can't believe how many people are here and connecting and in the room, not just for the weekend, but for today as well. We've got so many new, really cool businesses coming on board, new, really cool people too with them. And it's going to be great to collaborate and connect everyone that's here with everyone out in the global group. And welcome to all the EFT members as well.
Awesome. And we'll come over to you guys as well before we wrap it up here.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Pinto from Perth, Australia, and I run multiple businesses including tattoo, travel art, a restaurant and property. And I'm here, the biggest take right now was clarity and seeing everyone taking the leap of faith.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Robin Greatbatch, a new addition to the Crystal Circle. Thank you very much, Roger. And I'm a social entrepreneur, restaurateur, naturalist, landscaper. I've been in business, in this business for 14 years. I've been in business total probably 50 years now. I've had a lot of ups and downs, extreme downs, great ups. My biggest takeaway here, I wish I'd known this 14 years ago. Because all the things I've been doing are contrary to what Roger is preaching here. Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right, we'll give yourselves all a big round of applause. Thank you. We also have those who are watching. We also have Musa, who's here in the room. We have Tracy, who's here and has been working with us for many years. And we have Teresa, who's my daughter, who's here as well, all the way from Glasgow.
For many years.
And coming up to, yeah, for many years, she's been my daughter. In fact, for as long as I can remember. Yeah. So good to have everyone here in the room. And we always will take this, like one session, the live session, to be a topic, which means that you can always come back to it. It's recorded, right? So there's things here like, okay, I need this stuff in the future. Come back to it. The topic we are going to be focusing at, which is a really important one, because this year our whole focus is location, is how do you think global, act local? Like why is, like at what point do you try and be a global business? At what point should you be local? At what point should you try and do both? We're in the midst right now of a number of events that we're doing, which are becoming more local. At the same time as we're doing some events going global, we're going to walk through what those steps are as we go. I'm going to get someone on the team to share their experiences of what we're seeing as well, not just what we're doing, but also what people around the world are doing as well. What we got here already posted is Michelle's been posting everything down as we've been going. So when you come back to here, you see this. You just click on photos, see it, and you can just come back, watch the recording. You can see everyone here with their websites up here at the moment. Anyone who's watching, like Richmond's watching, you know, you can post as well. Your own website. I know we've got a lot of the guys like Catherine's here and a lot of guys from our Entrepreneur Fast Track who are on board as well. Daniel's here. So guys, do post your websites as well so others can find you too from all different countries. One thing I did say was I said that South Africa is basically at the beginning of a new dawn. And I really believe that over the next 10 years, we're going to see already it's happening that some of the African countries are the fastest growing countries, but we're going to see this massive leapfrog happen generally around not just mobile, but also augmented reality. It's already happening with like the schooling system, digital money, same thing as well. It's just faster. In fact, that's why some of the most innovative programs are all happening out here, and everything that's environmentally based will all be out here as well, which is why it's so great to have a conference center with our lodge, because we can then actually run like, you know, the world's leading conservation and environment programs, which is what we want to do as well. So we're in for a super exciting 10 years ahead. We're going to jump right into what it is to think global, act local. I'm going to start by giving you a context, and I'm going to share this on my screen as well. We're going to start with the context of something I shared on the weekend, which is also part of our Entrepreneur Fast Track, and that is, if I can find it here, the impact meter. And that's because this is going to relate directly to the size of business you are as to at what point you should be focusing at global, at what point you should be focusing on local. So I want you to have a look at this and assess for yourself at this point where your current business you're trying to focus at, because some of you have multiple businesses, where your current business that you're focusing at is, okay? And I'm just going to kind of like give you a bit of a summary on some of this as we go. If I move backwards here, we'll see it. You've got a very, very beginning part, and you have not even level 1, which is one customer, well, then you need to go to get to level 1. Think of this like you dropped a bunch of seeds, and you can't say the seed is a tree. You got to drop it and see what becomes a sapling. And focus on one sapling, right? This is basically the very, very beginning to have one customer. That one customer could be someone who happens to have 10 customers. So then that allows you to get more people, but this is always going to be from trust, which means if you go set up a website and go wait for people, that's not the way to start a business. It's to say, who really trusts me personally, for me, is willing to give something a go with me so I can start to co-create whatever this product is, right? This is what in startup methodology is called the MVP, the minimal viable product. It's a co-creation of a product. So in every respect, you're going to know better than the customer. The customer knows best. So don't even try and create the product without them. Go together. So this one here, personal service to solve one person's problem. That's it, right? And if you're in a job, then you're already a level 1 business because your customer is your boss because he's making money to solve his personal problem, his business, right? And if you quit the job and then you've got no customers, you've actually gone backwards. You're back to the same place as being responsible. So this one here, I'm solving a problem for someone who trusts me that they are willing to pay to have that solved, right? So maybe you might say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get to that level. Level 2, you go to this. No, don't go jumping up to this. Go get thousands of customers. Level 2 is 10 customers into a group, maximize value and fit. So this is like saying, okay, the work for one, what's going to be different if I have 10 people? Do they all have the same problem? Do they have a problem in common that I can scale? Is this person having a problem that no one else has got? Like, what's the bit that's multipliable in this? What's the bit in my time that people seem to like the most? You know, you might think, oh, what they like the most is the fact that I'm helping someone, you know, with their I'm a coach, I'm a life coach, I'm helping with their life. It's like, well, that actually is not unique enough. Oh, what I really like about me is that I'm really good at the detail and actually put a plan to, oh, that's what it really is, right? So can I get some power to keep myself alive? There should be a problem like that. Okay, so if we actually take that second level, we figure out what is the diamond in your time. Because you don't know what the diamond in your time is, which is a bit like a multiplier. Like, oh, that's what everyone wants. I can multiply that thing. Then you get up to level 3, which is taking that one thing, which is now your product brand. Can't create a product with that one too. It's a bit like saying, oh, look, I had a little sapling, it turned into a little flower pot. I can now take that flower pot and I can now start multiplying. But you're still in the greenhouse. So level 3, you're still in the greenhouse. You know, you go out there and start putting all the sunshine and water on it, the whole thing will collapse. But at this third level, getting up to 100 customers, you don't even need a big team to do this.
The audio is not good.
Because you're a little far away.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now? Probably better, right? Yeah.
Maybe you just lift up.
Are you going to stand? Are you going to stand close to me?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll stand over here as well, so it's closer to. All right. So, or then you get to level 3, predictable, replicable, and viable model to grow. That's when you go beyond people you know. We didn't have to really worry about whether or not they trusted you or whatever. You're not trying to get them to get interested, basically from scratch on a website. They already know you, so they're willing to give you time already. But by level 3, you've got to say, well, what happens if I go out to somebody now who doesn't know me? Like, well, what would that actually look like? Like, what would my website look like? How would I do it? And you're making money enough to test this, right? So that's when you get the website up. That's when you actually can go to a larger audience. It's what Suraj was just sharing next door. You need to know how much do I pay to find someone? Like, what conversion rate from those people after I give them free things and so on that they like me enough that they're trusting me to then pay me money. And do I need an extra product before I get to the big products? They're going to test that out first. And so you test that all here because don't go out and build a whole team until you figure that out. So we figured that stuff out here. Have I found a repeatable pathway from my market's need, my solution that I can measure, right? Do I have a repeatable path? If you go, hey, I've got it now you can go out and scale. Now you can go hire the team. Now you can go out, get the partners, scalable team and time to develop a sustainable business. That's green level now. Am I growing my team and time to enable the business to run well without me, right? Am I working on the business? Too many people trying to work on the business is still down here, right? This is fourth gear. Then if you get to 1,000 customers, then it's like, okay, we've got to change again, right? Because the team's only going to get so far doing that, but we need to go out and get partners and other people. We're going to bring a lot more people in. And we're going to get capital in, right? We're going to accelerate beyond what these guys can do. So but we can actually have a predictable future. We can say, hey, because of this repeatable model, here's what it's going to look like next year, the year after that. Investors go, okay, I can see how you're extrapolating this. Is this real? Oh, yeah, it's real. Okay, all right, then we believe it. Okay. So market leadership, attracting resources and partnerships. Have I built a reputation that attracts the financing, partners and support to leverage with? Because if you don't have this, no investors are going to come to you, right? You're going to go speak to people, they're going to say, that's great, but they're not going to give you money. And partners are going to say, brilliant, fantastic, but they're not going to work with you. So don't try and start in fifth gear, right? So each one of these is a different type, and it goes on, national impact, global impact. Just take a moment, have a conversation with the person next to you and say, well, my current business that I'm focusing at is at level 1, level 2, which this level is, and let's see what we've got in the room, right? Just give you like a minute for this. So have a conversation and figure out which one you are.
Well, I mean,
Is it my sound or is it your sound on? Because at the moment you're turning it around, but it's actually looking at me right now. Yes. Can you have a look? Did you start switch the screen? That's pretty groovy. All right, we can see everyone, right? Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, all right. So let's just check it out, right? Let's just have a look, right? So who at this point is looking at whatever business you're focusing at, and you're like, yeah, I'm actually at level 0 or level 1 right now. Right? Who do we have? Anyone? Okay, we've got a few. Like these will be startups just getting started. Who sees themselves at like the level 2 level right now, which is like between 10 and right? So okay. So what about level 3? 100 up to like close to 1,000, right? What about level 4? At like so we're at 1,000 plus, all right? And then level 5, 10,000, yeah. And then, well, we've got like our level 6, yeah. Okay, so we've got the rainbow here, right, at the moment. And what's really important, which is a really key distinction, is to know that in the first 2 levels, the level 1 and level 10, trying to start as a global business is almost impossible unless you already have a global network, right? So basically, another way of saying that, and Suraj, I think maybe if you switch it around so people can hear me talking as I'm going. If you're at the very beginning, it's like, okay, so I'm going to share with you like an article. This is a pretty cool article here. So this article is about a couple of companies that you've heard of. Oops, where did my article go? Let me find it. It's here somewhere. I'll just open it up. All right, so this is Airbnb, Uber. Okay. This is an article in Forbes, which actually someone did a doctorate on. It's called How Uber, Airbnb, and Etsy Attracted Their First Customers. And so these obviously are companies that are level 7, level 8 companies right now. Right, so I'll continue from, oh, there's page 1 here as well. Second. Attracted their first customers. That's the 2. Make it 1, see what happens. Oh, magic. Okay, so here is the story, right? Like, how did they start, right? Oh, gosh. Okay, so how did they start? Chicken egg problem. How do you get started? How do you figure it out to begin with? Okay, so lesson 1: think like a customer. So from the beginning, it is clear to the founders of apartment sharing site Airbnb that they need to find people willing to list their homes before finding people interested in staying in them. If you don't have a supply of houses and apartments, people are not going to come, right? So basically, the problem was where to find people willing to let strangers stay in their place. It's not like they could go around San Francisco knocking on doors. Instead, founders Brian and Joe thought like customers themselves, trying to figure out where they would go if Airbnb did exist. Didn't take them long to figure out the answer: Craigslist. The entrepreneurs figured they could do a better job of making apartments appealing than the online classified site, but first they had to siphon away its customers. To do that, Chesky and Gevius created software to hack Craigslist to extract the contact info on the property owners. They went straight to Craigslist and said, that's where the flow is, let's redirect the flow, and then sent them a pitch to list on Airbnb as well. It's like, hey, do you want to come on to Airbnb, right? The strategy worked. With nothing to lose, property owners doubled their chances of finding a potential renter. It's like, well, I'm already renting, so I might as well just come on board, and Airbnb have a ready supply of homes. However, poaching customers is something, if your website, okay, let's go to the second one of what they then did, right? Okay, all right. Okay, so here is the link, and I will post it on our Facebook, which is here. All right, so like at that point you go, okay, we'll just get them on the website. But like, no one's actually using the website at this point, so that's not going to work either. Wow, you guys are really posting a lot. Okay, so okay, so here's what happened. Here's what they did. So, gosh, so much stuff going on here. Okay. So then they're like, well, like, you know, who's even going to go look at this stuff? So they said, okay, once they apartment owners on the hook, the Airbnb founders realized they had a problem. The subpar photos that property owners were taking for Craigslist on their iPhones would never work for customers looking for an alternative for a hotel. The first time a person goes on Airbnb, they're comparing the quality of photos of hotels that are glamorized shots. They need to compete at that level. In order to do that, Chesky and Gebbia did something that would never be scalable. They hired professional photographers to go to the property owners' homes to take the pictures. So the very first people on Airbnb, they physically went into their houses to take the photos. The gamut worked, making the site much more attractive than the competition, setting a standard of photography that later property owners rose to match. The underlying principle of this is you should help your suppliers portray themselves in the best way possible. Now, by the way, what this hasn't said is they did all of this in Texas. Like where they were, they did it in one city, local, because then they could physically be there to do it, right? By the way, Uber, same thing. Ride-sharing Uber pursued a similar strategy. Rather than starting out with an Uber Pool or Uber X, in which drivers use their own cars. This was in New York City they did this, right? And then they did the same in San Francisco. The company started with black cars driven by professional drivers. They hired drivers to then, and they paid the drivers to drive around, and then they went out trying to get people to actually use the cars, right? Totally unscalable, totally different from the model they knew they were going to, but the way to prove that actually the customer would actually buy, right? So if you've got an opportunity where you're saying, well, I know if I had lots of customers, partners would be happy. Or if I know if I had lots of customers, I could deliver all these different products. But then you don't have the customers yet. Always start not with the product, but with the customer. And if you have to physically create the whole thing yourself, right, for that customer, go do that, right? Some of the first online shopping sites who would go in and do your grocery shopping and then go out and do it, the founders actually like went in themselves and like Blue Apron, like the founder actually went in themselves and picked all like, this is like for like you know, like a 5% margin because the supermarket wasn't giving them any discounts. Today they get discounts in the supermarket, but no discounts. And he's for like 5%, like $5. He's physically going in, getting all the order, putting it all in, and then basically driving it to the person to do. I mean, like he's losing money doing it, but he's proving to the customer that this is a good value, and then eventually you then get to scale, right? So, so this is a great article. You know, you get the idea here. But every single one of the biggest companies, they start at the very beginning by being local. So to what extent are you trying to build a global business where you're going, you know what, I'm in Johannesburg. I should get my first 10 customers just in Johannesburg, right? Or in Cape Town, or in Port Elizabeth, or in like, you know, Leicester, or in you know, Bali. And by realizing, oh, geez, that's the way to do it and make it very, very unscalable to begin with, you're then actually answering that question, which is I figured out what it is they really, really want because I'm in conversation with the customer now, as opposed to going out there and wondering why the people who come to my website aren't even buying from me as well, right? Does that make sense to everyone? Super duper important. Now, what happens if you get to the third level, right? Third level is where you now are, I'll come back to these ones a little later. Third level is now where you are trying to get up to 100. And when you're trying to get up to the 100, oh gosh, where is it? Yeah. That's what happens when like you got a smaller screen, right? It's like, where is everything? Here it is. So you get to the third level, which is like, okay, predictable, replicable, viable model. This is the first time that you should be actually trying to go out there and get connected up to more of a global audience. And even then, it's worth actually trying in your own area first before you go out everywhere, right? So for example, if you've got like some now, you know, like a mastermind group and everyone's now working together, and now it's like, I wonder if like others would want to come to it. The easiest, simplest way to begin with is that you're offering something which is more of a tangible product than it is an online product. Meaning that if we have an opportunity, if we were in Johannesburg and we were trying to figure out how do we actually get customers who will go beyond the people we know, the people we may not know yet, to actually respond to something online, and we have an option of getting them to buy some kind of online product, or we have an option of inviting them to an event, we'll always get them to invite them to the event first. Because it's something tangible where they can go, oh, I'm actually going to go to this thing where I'm going to meet other people, as opposed to I'm going to buy something which may or may not work, so I don't know these people yet, right? So if you're trying to go straight to online or straight to some system, as opposed to, hey, we've got an event in town which you can come to and hear about the system, right? You have them come to that event way, way more to have that. If you can't do the event, having a human at that third level, hey, we'll have a conversation with you. And having a conversation with someone is what will then get people on the phone. And when you have those people on the phone or at the event, you can then say, hey, by the way, this is what we're doing. Does this fit with your problem? Because at that point, if it doesn't, they'll say it doesn't. They'll say, no, it doesn't actually fit right now. It's too expensive, or it's not the right thing. And when that happens, then you can then fine tune. But if you're already at that third level, going out trying to get people around the world to buy and no one's buying, you have no idea why. Right? There's no way to even know why. So that third level is where you now actually are bringing the two together, but where the local and the global all link together. It's only at level 4 that you should be able to go scalable fully global, right? So just be really, really aware that some of us are actually focusing in the wrong way, and we're not building a local community as well as building a global community. So with that being said, I'm now going to come over to Michelle to share how, because we also have people on board that are actually part of a program we're doing next week, which is our Brisbane program all about this, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But if you could just share at the very beginning when we started up our local cities, given that we want to do this right here in South Africa for all of our cities here as well, how we kind of like went through, and who's having best success, what are they doing to get the success?
Yeah, can I say we just appointed a city leader yesterday?
For
Port Elizabeth.
For Port Elizabeth?
Yeah. Glenn! Aw, was that his Glenn's come on board to be the city leader for Port Elizabeth. So what we did was, because we have such a great experience when we come to Fast Forward, and we know that people just love connecting in so much at Fast Forward, but of course we can't do that in every city. And the cities we do come to, we only get to come there once a year. And everyone's like, oh, it's amazing. And it's like, oh, left, no, not really good. And what we wanted to do was, like, as well as having Genius U, which is a space where the entrepreneur movement can all connect online, we wanted to have a space where the entrepreneur movement could actually meet in person and continue to meet and make sure that the right people were showing up. Because there's so many networking groups out there that you can go to, but there's not one place where you can go to where you meet with the right caliber and quality of social entrepreneurs who are focused at actually making a difference to the United Nations global goals. So we said, let's create that. And we looked at the models that Startup Grind were doing. We looked at what TEDx were doing and said, well, let's create something that's even like better than what those guys are already doing. So we created the city circles, the entrepreneur socials, where the entrepreneur movement meets. And we went out to our database of like our top clients, basically. So all our VIPs, so our Crystal Circle members, all of our consultants, like our GEM members, and we said we're going to launch these city circles. We had over 150 applications come straight through in the space of like 2 weeks. People saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. And we said, well, we're just looking for the first 30 to come on board. And so we just had like a process of interviews where we got and had an interview with people. And we were checking really that, first of all, they had a real passion around the entrepreneur movement, and that they were really connected in with the United Nations global goals, that they wanted to do something different for their community, that they already had some kind of community. So they had at least sort of like 50 to 100 people in their network locally that they could actually bring on board as well to come to the socials, and that they were connected with people who were the heads of the right kind of like communities and organizations that were already inviting entrepreneurs to their events. Daniel, who's on the call, Daniel Helenko. So Daniel's from Manchester. Yay, big up Daniel. And he set up the Manchester City Circle. And what he did was he actually created a partnership immediately with the Institute of Directors, which is like a pretty massive organization, definitely in the UK. And he actually said to them, I'm going to let you be the sponsor, the top sponsor for the new Entrepreneur Social. No one else is going to get this opportunity. And you can invite your members to come along to the social. And he had like people he was inviting as well. I got to go along to their first event in Manchester. They had like 50 people show up. They had this really funky little venue that they'd hired as well. It's all very low cost and really funky. They had the place done up nicely. And there's a particular structure that we follow with that, where there's like a really nice bit of networking that we're doing to begin with. Then Daniel comes on stage, talks about why he's a city leader, what's different about the Entrepreneur Social, how big that growth is. And then they bring on a speaker. And the speaker is somebody who is already a social entrepreneur, very successful in their own right. And they talk about their journey and story like the change makers do yesterday. So yeah, Daniel's been doing super well. He's done so well, getting 50, 60 people at a time, and with his relationship with the IOD, that we're now actually going to his town at the end of January and running one of the very first Entrepreneur Fast Tracks.
Right, very cool. So there's a part where, like, by starting at that local level, and we did the same when we actually started everything we do globally. We started in Singapore, right? We just started in one place, and then allowed us to grow. We're doing the same with things like Genius Cafe, where we start in one place and say, what's our local strategy to become the hub in that area, be known, to then bring the right people on board. That then allows us then to actually like reach people globally at the same way as well. And even how you do social media really makes a big difference and a big impact as well. So I'm gonna ask Suraj to just share like the difference of what we do when we're like marketing, let's say for example, for an event like with Brisbane, or even what happened in Johannesburg, you know, compared to when we're just going globally. And and how easy it is to actually do locational targeting rather than trying to get out to everybody.
Yeah. So we've been doing this for all the fast forwards as well as EFT, which is the Entrepreneur Fast Track. You can actually find out all the details from Facebook, which tells you what gender you want to target, what location you want to target, and even the radius in which they want to target as well. So,
could you do any? Are you able to go live? Can you share your screen and just go live into our Facebook like ads, and just show what would happen if we were to just say we're just going to get like super targeted, with one of those ads into, let's say, for example, Johannesburg or something like that, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. You guys can see it. This is the Facebook ads coming up here. And this is our ads manager. I'll just quickly go into the Entrepreneur Fast Track one, which should be live now. So this one. So you can see here 16 purchases done for this one, and it's just a single image ad. And it tells us which ad has given what purchase and what each purchase is costing us as well. So it's like $52.
Can you zoom in bigger because it's difficult to change.
Yeah. Better? Yeah, so you can do that, and plus you can then break down based on what age, what gender, and who's looking at those ads as well. So if I was to look at gender, so now that's been added onto, and plus age added onto this as well. So this will tell me that it's the 18 to 24, how many are buying, 25 to 34, there were 2 purchases, 45 to 54 age group, there are 4 purchases, and so you can get really targeted into what, like what your customer avatar is and who are responding to your ads as well. So if I was to do this based on age and gender, then this would tell me that 25 to 34 male have bought like 2 tickets, and 4 are 45 to 54. Then based on this, then you know where you should be spending your money on, like what should be your focus overall as well. I can do this based on location as well. These are the business locations, and this will then break down into, so let's break down into country. So this is Australia. So because we're doing this in Brisbane, so these are all Australia ones. But if I was to do a global one, then
it's click in on an actual ad in terms of how the actual criteria is set, so people can see where you actually defined that was Australia.
Yeah. So let me just go back to this one so I can see this. Okay. So this is my ad set, and inside the ad set, I can go into these ones. So these are like the different ad set. I'll click edit here, and wow. Yeah, so this has come up now, and this is like the custom conversion, which is like the EFT purchase. That's how we are tracking it. Plus, it can tell you the audience group, right? So what we're doing is this one is the specific full database, which we've uploaded onto Facebook. So it's targeting people from our database who are living in Queensland. So you can add it on location based on which particular area they're looking at. And if I was to say to Gold Coast here, right? This will come. So it says Gold Coast as well, and then you can target in the radius of. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So this then targets Gold Coast plus 40 kilometers, right? So you can adjust how much is the cities within radius.
You're seeing what your reach is, because I'm telling you how many people you're going to reach by doing that. But in real time, it shows you.
Yeah. So yeah, so it'll tell us that from our database, there are about 780 to 1600 people on Facebook who we can reach out to. Now, this is filtering just from our database. But if I was to remove this number, which is like a customer database, this has gone up to say 932.
Now, this is us going to our database to get localized. But when we were in the UK and we basically were just getting started, and I had my book Wink, we said, well, let's actually get everyone reading Wink in the UK so that they'll come along for the event. And Wink ended up, well, what we did is a really simple thing. We didn't have a big database in UK, but we looked and saw, hey, look, Robert Kiyosaki, who just actually not that long before that had come out with like, about 5 years earlier, had come out with like Rich Dad Poor Dad. and it had this really big, like, network of people. We went and did exactly this. We said, well, who's interested in Robert Kiyosaki or Rich Dad Poor Dad in UK? And it was like this massive number of like millions of people. We're like, wow, okay. How many in London? It was a much smaller number, but it was still there. It's like, okay, we put one ad up, and the ad went to just those people. We said, if you liked Rich Dad Poor Dad, you'll love Wink. Click here, right? And then people just clicked. And they went to the Amazon site where they actually would put their details in, right? And then we could then retarget them to say, thank you for buying the book, and if you'd like to come along to the event. The book became the #1 bestseller in the UK with that one ad. That's it, right? So a lot of times it's really just about, okay, well, how are you just going to local? And it was because it was for something that was based in the UK. Every one of these ads that we're doing in Brisbane actually says on it, Brisbane Entrepreneur. Like, all of them are actually very, very focused, so that it's not just a big sea of noise of things that are out there, which happens when you're trying to get out to everybody. So the more very focused where someone said, that's me, that's who I am, right? I have to go to that thing because I'm Brisbane Entrepreneur in that area. That's what makes all the difference. And most of us are trying to go too wide, which is like trying to catch every fish in the sea and then not having any of the right bait. And then we wonder why we never get any fish, as opposed to go to one very specific type of fish in a specific area, exactly what they love to eat. I mean, that way you get all the fish that you want, right? So like most of us aren't thinking in that way to get really targeted, but you have to at the beginning until it then starts to actually create that next level up. So this is like an example of the ad. Right. So you kind of get the idea, right? I'd love everyone to just like have a conversation with someone next to you about, based on your current level, should there be something you should be doing which is actually more local, which would actually create flow far faster? Are you at the point where it's actually ready to go up to the next level? And we're going to open this up for just a few questions, right? We've got time for that as well right now. So it's kind of, this is very much like a practical thing that we want to be doing, including those who are listening that are part. We're going to do an update on our Entrepreneur Fast Track in a moment, how we're doing it. And for each person that's part of this, who've come on and partnered with us, each one of them have a chance to really build their own local database as part of the event we're going to do next week, right? So take a moment and just chat with someone next to you. What would be your biggest question?
Yeah, as I mentioned,
ads off.
I'm on the other situation.
Said that they're unstoppable.
10,000 followers.
So just
Facebook.
It's
Real
early bird.
Oh, I see.
Because they only come, maybe.
What is that for cost per result? $34 per result is a purchase? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like wow.
I mean, I do know that.
That's working.
Yeah.
That's really good. Oh,
I'm unable to translate.
I've got my power just now.
Made reservations and use phone numbers.
Anyone watching who wants to ask any questions, do post them in here as well. Just check it out. We'll see if there's any questions.
But I can't think. I guess from what I heard. But this,
Okay, all right. So thank you for sharing. Let's just open this up for anyone who has any like immediate kind of questions that you'd like to ask, which could actually help you moving forward. Yeah. Can you move yours around as well? We'll catch your. Oh, if you ask a question, I'll repeat it. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to. You don't. I mean, LinkedIn works just as well as Facebook, and for some of you, you should be using LinkedIn more than Facebook because it's much more the corporate audience. So you can definitely do that. And how many customers?
Sounds on again.
Okay, can we check that? I think you might have muted on your side.
No, it's unmuted.
It's unmuted. Can you hear at the moment? You can hear.
I think you're trying to hear.
Oh, okay. So the question, I think it's because it's far away, right? Yeah. So the question was, like, if most of my customers are more corporate or if they're LinkedIn, do I need to use Facebook? And the answer is, well, no, you can actually be using LinkedIn. Retargeting, which Suraj mentioned about earlier, LinkedIn only started retargeting about 4 or 5 months ago. but you can now go in and actually do retargeting. There's some really, really good like apps which allow you to automate a lot of the LinkedIn programs. So the moment someone comes and looks at your profile, straight away it allows you to then actually kind of like send them an automatic message to say, hey, thanks very much for looking, and here's my group page and so on, just like Twitter does as well. How many customers do you have right now? About 16 customers. Okay. No, I get it. So I'm just repeating. So great. So you're at the point where it's like, all right, well, like the way you got those first customers are most likely word of mouth, right? Yeah, that's right. So you see, to get from, this is where the strategy needs to change, because you're a level 2 company, and as long as you are still working word of mouth, you'll never get to level 3, right? Because there's only so many people that know you. So then it's like, okay, now I need to spend I need to spend enough time to grow the way I want to grow with my current level 2. Maybe it's just this year, 25 customers. That's all I'm going to work with, of people I know. But I'll tell them that. So instead of saying, I hope to get 25, you say, I'm only going to work with 25, right? And then people go, well, how many do you have right now? 18. It's like, well, you only got 7 left. Well, then I'll come and work with you. So people make decisions to buy from you, not because they like what you do. It's because there's a consequence of not buying, right? And so by you saying, right, that's it, 25, then you get 25, you're done, right? Then it's like, okay, well, then how am I going to get my next 75? Well, that's why I want to really experiment now to say, well, what happens if I actually do go out to people on LinkedIn? I do ask them to actually take some pathways. Now, the first thing is if you're doing that and you're thinking, well, I'm not going to just ask them to book up on my stuff because they don't really know enough about me right now. But if I was to go to people who know people, if I do already have some people I'm working with who've got their friend network as well, and people that are that they might know, and I can do a story about, hey, this person had this result. And then I can actually, instead of going out and doing big ads or anything like that, I can go directly to those people, even before you spend any money in ads, and say, I'm just going to go out and directly message 100 people. I'm going to find those 100. I'm going to send them a message saying, the reason I'm contacting you is I know you know such and such. I've been working with them for some time now. We've got great results, and I'd love to have a chance to have a conversation with you to see, what is it that's your biggest challenge that I actually could help with. It's totally free of charge because I'm giving out, a next number of this with my with people that are connections of people that I'm already supporting. If you're interested in this, you can actually connect back. And out of this 100, maybe you'll get 10 or 20 coming back saying, hey, I'm interested, right? So then you don't have to worry about spending lots of money in advertising. Then you can have conversations with those people saying, here's what I'm doing, what's your biggest challenge, where you're going. And you'll then find out where your real sweet spot is with people who don't know you, before you go spend lots of money in advertising and then realize it's not working, right? So there's always that element of getting to the customer as close as you can until you go, wow, look at that, they're all buying. They're not ready to buy the whole lot, but they all are willing to kind of test out at like $500 something. Great, I'll put now a landing page on that, and now I can go out and do proper advertising because you already know you're getting the right messaging coming through. Make sense? Awesome. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a slightly different position because I have 10,000 customers who are waiting in limbo as we try to find a new location in Singapore. So my challenge now is how to handle them in the process of course, going global also. I'm getting terrific support. They contact me every day saying, hey guys, what's going on? When are you going to restart again? And, what's the new concept?
Sure. So I'll give you an example of what to do when you're building up a community and you want to create that ongoing. And I'll give you a very real example of this. This is let me share my screen for a moment. Here we go. So Penny Power, who we know very well and who's really supported us a lot, and I love the things that Penny does. She's in the midst at the moment of basically setting up a new cafe. She's had the idea of a cafe for some time. So what she did, given that she didn't have a cafe yet, is she was doing, you don't have 10,000 customers, you have 10,000 community members. They might have paid money before, but they're not paying money now. So a community member is paying you time, whereas a customer is paying you money. So what she did was said, well, I'll just build my community. So she said, right, I will go out there and I will basically create a page. And she's using Facebook. And again, you can use LinkedIn. And she's got, as you can see here, 1,900 people now that are following this, 2,000 people now following this, where she's just been posting things about people like the business cafe, people who are on their own trying to figure out, without a community even, they have chats on here. So here's Business Cafe, talking about loneliness books. It's all about how we solve loneliness of entrepreneurs doing their own thing. People are following this. They're following Penny, Penny's actually giving like posts and things, and she's got all these people that she's been building up over the last year, getting them all excited, getting more interested as they're gone. And you can see there's a whole community now that's growing of people that all kind of find their connection within this space, right? This became strong enough as a community that it was only about a month ago that Penny then said, okay, I'm ready now to go out there and to launch the very first cafe. And she got everyone behind it because she now had a community that was working. And she said, okay, well, let's go do this, right? So what she did was she actually created, and I'll see if I can find the link here. Maybe it's on here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's not an easy link to click, but maybe it's on here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so she actually created this, which was on Crowdcube, which is a crowdfunding site. And she said, okay, guys, we're ready to go. Going to aim to raise £350,000. She's like about a quarter of the way into it. 16 days left. She's ready to raise 90,000. She's just doing it as a crowdfunding. Now, if she hadn't built that community first, she wouldn't have people saying, I'm ready to actually come in and actually invest with you as well. So you can definitely get a group together, say, I'm going to start sharing things. We're going to get ready to get going again, get them all vibrant, bring their friends in as well. And then that allows you to have that ongoing consistency. And there's no better future-proofing than to have a strong community that then you can always tap into to find the right customers because they're already your big fans. Does that make sense? All right. Do we have a final third question? Yeah.
How do you make so your followers, because I've got 20,000 likes,
Yes.
how do you turn them into a community? So if you share something, maybe it reaches 600.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So very important that someone who is who's a follower is paying you attention. They're not paying you time. They're not going off Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere like that to come to see your things. So there's really two different ways that you can get them off that to something you're doing. One is you got their email address and they're spending time on their emails, right? And they're going to send them an email. Or you get them into a group or you're getting into a group separate, which is a group which is not like big difference between someone who goes and follows a page compared to something like this, which is still where you don't have to get their email, but it is a private group where someone has to apply to be part of it, to get into it. So we have the entrepreneur movement as a community. We have this entrepreneur movement group where, as you can see here, there's 15,000 members. They're saying, I'm willing to put some of my time into something different from all the other things. Now this is kind of gray area because it's still on Facebook, but people think differently at the moment they're in this group, right? And they're saying, I'm willing for you to message me because groups message you. I'm willing for you to message me every time something comes up, right? So one step forward where they're saying commitment on my time. And then we obviously have Genius U. So when I have something and I post it, I'll do a live comment or something like this, right? And then people will then actually click onto that. And then it's a very easy way for people to then gather in. And in the case of this one, I said to people, hey guys, we're going to talk about this whole new event that we're doing. And you can see it's like 131 shares of it because I ran a competition when I did it and say if you share it, then you're in this draw. And so people then go share it and then everyone gets to see it. So you're really leveraging on people saying, I'm going to give time to support with others as well. So either you're getting an email address or you'll get, and if you could check out maybe, for example, one of our e-guides, like Wealth Dynamics e-guide will show you the easiest way to get someone who already knows you, where you can now retarget those people because they're already following you. And then they see like an ad or an invitation to give an email to actually then be able to get something of extra from you, right? You also saw what Suraj shared about the message bot. The moment someone clicks and says, yes, I want this, and they click it and they get it, they're taking time away to read that, and you know who that person is now. So now they've gone from being someone who was just a follower to someone who's actually now a community member, but they're actually actively doing more than that, right? And from there, you can then offer those people at some point, hey, now maybe you want to do more. So the reason that when we have someone buying, let's say, Wealth Dynamics test, the reason they buy the test is because we're giving them not just the download, we're giving them a series of videos that are high-value videos. And then from there, we're inviting them every time. And by the way, if you actually want to do the Wealth Dynamics test, you can click here and buy it. And we'll get like 1 in 7 people who will buy it. Right? So then, but we wouldn't go out just trying to sell the Wealth Dynamics test to everybody. We're only doing it to people that already have said, we actually are interested in more, and we're actually consuming your content, or because we like it already. And most time when people pay money, it's just for convenience. They're converting the fact that they can get all this stuff themselves for free, but it's their time, compared to actually taking the fast track and now actually paying money to save time and to do it better. But they better make sure they already know. Or in-game apps are like that, right? It's like, for me to get enough credit to do something, I can either work basically for 3 weeks we're playing on this game to get to that, or I can just go buy it right now, right? I'll just go buy it. So always be very aware that people already need to have a very, very clear cost benefit before they're going to part with their money, which means they're already somehow trying to consume your information, but it's just not in a convenient way. Make sense? Yeah. So yeah, Suraj, do you want to share an example of like how we do that at the moment?
Yeah. So let me just share my screen. Sharing my screen now. If you guys can see this, this is like the landing page for everyone. So Roger has this album called The Entrepreneur Inspiration. He posted photos over there, but then we converted that entire album into an ebook. And people can just go onto this page, and this is the one which we are advertising. They can put in their name, and all of a sudden they then come into a database. And once they come into a database, then they get added benefits as well. But the power of this ad is that it's just costing us 30 cents for each download, for each email. So whenever they come in and enter their email addresses, it's per subscriber, it's costing us 30 cents. But then once they get onto it, we send them an email after they've gone through it for a week that I'm writing with an additional download I think you will find really helpful, which is it's the e-guide to Wealth Dynamics, the profiling tool I created that has. So this is an email from Roger going out to all the people who read the Entrepreneur Inspiration with the added bonus, and they get an email with the video as well. And now they're getting into the Wealth Dynamics e-guide funnel. And we know that once people get into that funnel, there are about 12 to 15 out of every 100 e-guide downloads that we have, they actually go in and purchase. And then they spend like $97 to with us.
One thing important about the emails is that it isn't like everyone watches 3 emails and then buys something. Some buy in the first, some buy in the second. And we also know that we're all different profiles. So we have 3 emails. One of them hedges the bet. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. So the first one that hedges the bet says how to double your income while halving your stress. Double the income, dynamos and blazers go, oh, I could do that. Like 10-person steals like, I'm not going to be able to do that. Halve your stress is what like the 10-person steals like, that's what I need right now, right? So we had the highest open rate on that one because you've got both sides. And then the whole thing is actually talking to both sides. Some people go, oh, okay, I'm going to go do this, right? So others don't do that yet. The second one is going specifically for the positive people, how to build $1 million team. So I need $1 million team. So then the dynamos and blazers will click that one because they are interested in that. And so it's worded differently. It's worded to those positive people, right? And then we've got the other side of the people who are actually not so positive. So the third one is the 5 biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make. It's like, oh, I better find out what that is, right? So they go for the negative. So just be really aware that, like, you know, you've got to be thinking, who am I speaking to? And am I speaking to everyone I wanted to speak to? Or is there another step I need to take? That's what actually then allows us to have such a high percentage. And that came over time. I was just experimenting to see, like, which ones actually work best. So we're tracking that as we go as well, right? So this, yeah, it's an example of the video. Yeah. So this element of building trust at every point is always starting from where the customer is and what's the flow of trust, right? You know, we talk about digging a river. The spade, the shovel is trust. That's what it is. You just trust, just building trust, and then that's what actually then creates the flow. And most of us, if we're digging where there's no trust, we're digging where there's no customer, then we're surprised that you're not digging at all, right? Now, let me just share a final part on this. Well, first of all, is this being helpful? Okay, I'm going to share a final part because we've kind of gone a bit of time. A final part in terms of like process or steps, next steps forward. Then I'm going to give you a chance to just share what's the biggest learning that's come out of this little session we've had. We'll just open up a few of you to share from that as well. And then we will close up the call. And I believe we're going to have, is it going to be lunch or something? Or, yeah, okay, well, even better. All right. So is it 12:30 for the lunch? Oh, so are we able to go on for a little bit longer? Or are we going to stop now? Yeah?
It's not 12 o'clock.
Oh, so we still have more time? Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Phew, I was going really fast. I thought we were going to finish now. Okay, all right. Okay, so okay. So what, before going, did anyone want to have another question they wanted to ask at this point? Yeah. Say again. Are we using Instagram? We do.
Yeah,
we do Instagram.
Yeah, and Instagram is linked to Facebook. So whenever you promote on Facebook, the same ads show up on Instagram as well. So it's as well as.
Okay, so the question was, are we using Instagram? And the answer is yes, we are using Instagram. I wouldn't say for us, Instagram at this point is something we've figured out well, really. I mean, like, we've definitely figured out the other ones better. I think this next year, we will be spending a lot more time figuring out LinkedIn. for sure, right? Because we've really figured out Facebook, we've really figured out YouTube, but we're really going to figure out LinkedIn. Instagram, I would actually guess, is going to work a lot better for both Health Dynamics and Genius School, because they're both more lifestyle type, or like, and so it's a different demographic. But we definitely want to do more, and if, like for what you're doing, Instagram can definitely work, like motivational posts and things that actually want people. That it definitely works, and it's a very easy way using tags to then actually really grow your network as well. Right? Any other questions? Yes.
You guys usually get the email and prospect. Is there a strategy that you can use to say we want the email address initially, get their attention, we want additional information about them as time goes on, like certain company information?
Yeah.
Would we use like quizzes or templates for them to fill it out at a later stage?
Yeah. So the question was, if you get someone's email, so things they'll participate in, where they, take questionnaires to get more detail from them and so on. And you mentioned the word prospect in there, talking about customer. So I want to just make a distinction between a difference of a prospect compared to a community member. Because when someone gives you an email, it doesn't mean they're a prospect, right? So if someone gives you an email, someone says, I'm willing to now pay you some time. Someone who is a prospect is someone says, I'm willing to pay you a decision. Not I'm going to really pay money, but so if you have someone who's an email, and you've got an email and you're giving them good value, they're saying, hey, this is worth my time. And then at some point you say, hey, we've got this really great offer on this page over here. Anyone who clicks through to that page is a prospect. Doesn't mean they're going to be a customer yet, but they're a prospect. And you can now say, oh, these guys are different, right? These guys are actually clicked through. They're not the ones who says, I'm not interested in any decision. I'm happy how I am. It's like, no, I'm interested in a decision. And often and sorry, I said this, it's like, we'll follow those prospects knowing that they actually actively want to do more than just get the time, because it's worth their time already. But for whatever reason, they didn't buy, but they're still a prospect, right? So let's go back to those people with a better offer, or with like a reason that they should buy, or so on, without bugging these people with basically, here's more reasons you need to buy, when they're like, I already told you I'm not interested, or else I would have clicked, right? So you don't end up, a lot of people mess up their list, right? A lot of people go to events and mess up an event because they're just constantly trying to sell stuff, and everyone's like, I didn't give you permission to spend all your time selling to me. I came here because I bought a ticket and I wanted to get value, right? And it's the reason if we actually have anything that we're asking someone to buy, we don't do it just in front of everyone. Just we'll tell them, say the break. So that we only want to hear the prospects who actually are interested in buying. The rest of everyone, go have a break, right? And it's really, really important to know the distinction of the community member and the prospect, or else you overdo it with the community members thinking that they all want to buy from you when they never said they did, right? So with that being said, there's actually, first of all, a ratio at which we can say, I think I'm a fair ratio right now. So let me just share with you that ratio. So for example, Louise, you're saying you have about 20,000 followers at the moment, right? Yes. So let's take Louise as an example. And let's just take a ratio find my link again if I can. There it is, okay. So here we go. I'll share my screen so everyone watching can see it as well. Here is the screen. All right. So if you look at this, and we say we've got 20,000 followers. Now we don't know how warm those followers are, so we're going to get to that. So we get to this, and we say, if you've got 10,000 followers, you should reasonably have maybe about 2,000, about 20% that are on an active email list out of those 10,000, right? Which means if you've got 20,000, you should ideally have around 4,000 on your email list that actually want to get stuff from you, right? How many do you have on an email list? That's what you haven't done. Okay, great. Great. Okay. So that's the break, right? Now, if you did have that, one thing that's really important is to know generally the industry average for anyone who's building community is that every person who is part of your community, you can actually have an average of how much each one of those people is worth to you, right? Which is roughly around $15 to $20 per person. They're not all going to buy it, but some will. So then you can say, well, if I'm going to have 4,000 people with my 20,000, if I just figured that thing out, then that 4,000 people would be each spending every year, let's call it $20 each. That's 4,000 times 20. Can you do those numbers? $80,000, right? So you've got basically an opportunity cost that you're losing of $80,000 right now. That's really coming straight from that, right? So yeah, so you've got to figure this out. Now you can do some things with those who are already followers, but there's also a good chance that if they came followers 6 or 12 months ago, they're really cold. They're not doing more with you anyway. So what becomes more important is how many new followers you have coming on board, right? So if you said, okay, let's set a goal that we just start by just getting 100 new followers. This next week, let's just go get 100. And the easiest way to get 100 is not going out trying to spend lots of advertising. It's going and looking at the people that you've got who actually are the ones that already are potentially most qualified, and getting them to follow you in a new place, right? Even setting up a new list, right? Hey, we've got a new program happening for everyone here who wants to be part of it. Click here and follow this page, or click here and join this group. So then you say, hey, how many people do we have who are real? It's not 20,000, it's only like 1,000, but that's okay. It means you start from there. Then from there, you say, hey, who here is an interesting person that would be interested in more? Or when I share a post and people liked it, like with buttons, you could actually have virtual buttons, and every single day you're actually having a new button of the day that people can share. People go, oh, I really like that button, that's so cool. And if they're sharing it, you're watching who's sharing, right, and who's liking it, and you're clicking on every single one of those people. And you're saying, hey, thanks so much for liking this. Come like our page. I hope you like it, right? And if you see something about them where they're doing something awesome, it's like, maybe we can do a button for you on this or whatever. People go, whoa, you're really interested in who I am, right? Because so many people have like a page with nothing on it, and they're like, why is no one liking my stuff? It's like, well, when did you like their stuff, right? So to begin with, the easiest way to get, you can't do that when you've got 10,000, but when you've got 100, you can do it, right? And then you've got a really engaged group of people who go, oh, I like this company. They actually like wrote to me personally, right? And that's the reason they'd join your page with only 500 people compared to just look at a 500,000 page, where they might have like, all this popularity, but they feel like a small person, right? Here they'll feel much bigger, they'll feel a hero, and then that allows you to then get often going again. And you think like, oh, if each of these people is worth $20 to me, right? And there's 2,000 worth $20, which means if I had 2,000, that would be worth 40,000 to me. That means every single person that you connect with who decides to even follow you is worth $4, right? Because that's 40,000, right? So then you suddenly realize that it all turns into money eventually. I just got to go out there and really start the flow going as well. That makes sense? So to Trevor's question, which is, so like, are there ways if someone's already like given me time that I can then get more information from them? Yes, as long as you're giving them more than you're asking. So for example, we've done this. We go out and we say, hey, we've got this new download that you can have, right? We've got these opportunities for you to be a part of some of the things that we're doing going forward. Like we have one going on at the moment. Maybe Michelle, you can share about like the questionnaire around like Best 2018 and how we actually already are dividing people up in different ways for that as well.
So we've actually gone out to a very specific community to do this. We've gone out to our mentor community. So that's everybody who is a mentor on GeniusU. And that we've got some who are super active, and we've got some that actually aren't active, maybe haven't even set their profile up, but they're all mentors. So we've gone out to them and said, we want to find out how we can support you to make 2018 your best year yet. And in order for us to help you, we need some information from you. So we put a survey of questions together, really focused at that level, which is kind of like that yellow level for the mentors. So very much like the orange to yellow level type questions, how are you getting on with your promotions? How are you getting on with like even thinking what your promotion should be? Like, how's your revenue this quarter? How was your revenue in 2017? What are you planning to have to do in 2018? Where do you need help with growing a team? Where do you need help with like your digital marketing and understanding Facebook ads? And so everyone can just go in and they tick the top 3 things that they're most interested in hearing about. So, and already like 100 people have gone in and just completed that survey, which gives us instant data. But also within there, right at the bottom, we've said, okay, thanks for giving us all this information. Here's a list of programs. If you're interested in any of those programs, tick here as well. And then they go in and tick the programs they're interested in, like we put the conference in there, the micro degree builder workshop, all the certifications that we're doing. And people have gone in and ticked multiple products that they're interested in. Probably about 70% of the people who've completed the survey have actually said they want to know something. And then those people we actually invite to have a phone call with them as well, where we'll actually give them a mentoring session for free, like an hour's mentoring session with one of the Genius Igniters to focus at their whole plan for 2018 and tell them about the programs that they've already told us they're interested in. And people will book up in December for those programs already.
So that's an example where you've actually got an active group, in this case the partners or people we're working with. Here's an example of what to do with a community. So we went out to our whole community of people already following our things, and we said, hey, we've got this award program, Global Impact Awards. We ran this in around August time. And we said, okay, so here's the, and this now is finished, right? It says it's closed and so on. But at the time we went out, it's like you get a chance to win 15 days in paradise. And what we're asking for you to be part of this, and win this 15 days or so on, or get discounts to come along, is that we're looking for you to fill out a registration at the bottom. And in the registration, we ask them questions like, what size business do you have? We ask them questions like, what's the biggest thing you're looking to have solutions for right now? We ask them questions like, why do you deserve to win? Right? And we had like over 1,000 people from our community who all entered. We choose the person who's going to win. You think, well, that's expensive to give that away. And it's like, well, no, that's built into the promotion cost, because now by giving that away, we've got all these 1,000 people wanting to do things with us. We could go to the other 15 people that we nominated to then also come on board and be a part of this. They get a discount, but we're still able to make enough margin to actually cover costs and make it work for us. So they're happy as well. So they all come on board, and then we have everyone else who didn't win, right? But we can go back to those people and say, hey, thank you very much for being a part of this. We'd love to have a conversation with you about how we can support and help you going forward. It may be you want to come for an iLab. It may be something else. Here's 4 different options of what you can do with us. Option 1 is that you just want to have some simple, easy things you can apply, which isn't a lot of investment of time or money. Click here if you'd like that, right? Or you really do want to have a retreat of some sort, but you just want the best price and you want to be basically making it work for you. Click here, or you're looking for much more like intense support and work. Click here. Whenever they clicked, would go to a different one of our Genius Igniters who are our team. So they're qualified already in to say that's what I'm most interested in. So it's not just have a general call, it's actually about a specific thing, which then means you're not wasting time on the call, either yours or them. And now you've gone from someone who's basically like already proven to be a prospect, where they're saying, I want to win this thing, and I'll tell you why, to now a point where they're actually now willing to make a decision of some sort, where then it's just a matter of a yes or no. And generally when we do that, we'll get between 50 and 60% of people on those calls that will decide to do something, right? Because and so it's not cold calling, it's very, very warm, right? And they're even booking in where the call is, so you're not having to check it out. We're just using something like, what are we using right now? Calendly or Danny, what are you using at the moment for meeting or something like that? Yeah. So these are just very simple for you. Just book up when you're free, and they'll just click in and book into that as well.
What's the charge as well? So you can integrate through systems, so there's that here, which is just a direct connection to QuickBooks as well. And then Calendly, it actually sessions for regulation. Calendar, you can find the time to
Got it. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to share a few resources and a few steps, and then we'll just do a bit of a wrap up here. The first one is many of you already know, who are more familiar with everything we're already doing, that there's always like a cascade of what's the first thing first. And for some of you who are newer, you're going to see what this is. The very, very first thing first in anything you're going to do is to set up your plan, right? And basically we have got our annual plan, which is our green level plan, where we all are coming together for our planning for 2018 at the moment as well. So this is our team charter for 2018. And then we'll have very specific promotion plans for the things that we're running. So we'll give templates to everyone who hasn't seen these before. But here's an example where I'm going to just take what we're doing right now with our exponential fast track, which is a very clear example of a local promotion. This is one specifically for Brisbane that we're doing right now. We're going to run 3 in January and February, which are going to be in the UK. We've got 1 in Birmingham, 1 in London, and 1 in Preston. And we are basically start with 1, test the model, and then grow from there. So here we actually have a promotion plan, which says before we do anything else, let's make sure we know what's the problem we're trying to solve. Let's make sure we've got a solution that we actually believe in. Let's make sure we've got a compelling offer everyone likes. Let's say we've got a team that's going to run it all. Then we've got financial objectives where we say, okay, we have 200 people coming to each event. We generate $200,000. We give lots of value to everybody. We'll make sure that we're giving 20% of commissions out so that the event partners can make good money as well. And let's just test that. Can we get 200 people? Step number 1 is we just have a plan. Step number 2 is we then say we need a project, a team, and we need a place where we're actually tracking all of this. So that basically then leads up to, if I can find it here. Where did it all go? Close it. Come on. It's not so good. Okay, well, I'll find it. It's here somewhere. So we'll go first of all find, where is the team, which is the, our ad copies will have things like that. We'll have the listing of it. We'll have the project map. Here's a project map. So the team will use Basecamp, and then we'll link that to a project map, which looks like this. And this one at the moment, it was updated as of last week. It still needs to be updated for today, where we actually have every day, what do we expect is going to happen? This is when we started a couple of weeks ago. How many coming from partners, how many from our own database, how much is from social media. And you can see, like, we thought we'd have 100, we had 106. We thought we'd have 100, we had 142. That number's gone up, by the way, and we know it's gone up because we're tracking it in real time. So I can go down to our current tracking as of this moment. So I'll just give an update for everybody. We use Salesforce as our CRM. So you do need a CRM that's tracking everything. So this CRM shows all the people buying it in real time. You can go down and have a look at everyone who's bought a ticket. And basically they're buying for like $90 or $100. These are people buying multiple tickets and so on. So we can see already, as of today, we've sold 173 tickets, right? Which is so like, and this is still over a week away, and our whole goal is 200. So we definitely hit the number. We have, and one of the reasons we were able to do this within 4 weeks, I think it's only, yes, I think we're in the 4th week right now. So the reason we're able to do it in 4 weeks is because we were able to bring on board partners, and some of them are listening right now, where we made it really, really simple. We made it something which is a win-win for everybody. And of course, we've got people in Brisbane already, but many people have their own business, right? So we said, so let's make sure that we have got, and I'll give you 2 examples of landing pages, because every promotion needs to have a landing page. This is more of a global landing page, as opposed to this, which is our local landing page, right? So I'll show you the difference in the 2. This one here, which is the Brisbane Fast Track one. I got it. It's good. So this one here, this is a global one, right? Global, you can see it's clearly global. We want about 800 to join Entrepreneur Leader Circle. So this is Suraj's current promotion he's running. So you can see like you can be anywhere in the world. There's nothing that's talking about the city or anything. It's just like anyone in the world can be a part of this, right? So we can do this because we're at a high level. We've got a big database to go out and actually promote something like this globally. The Brisbane one, really, really clear. Brisbane Entrepreneur Fast Track is very, very specifically localized, right? Invest in Afternoon in December, straight away, Brisbane Entrepreneur Fast Track, like who, what, where, and when, very specifically, right? For Brisbane's leading entrepreneur organizations in Brisbane. It's like just local, 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 local. And even in all the ads, it's all just local, local, local. Because people basically are just tired of just like a massive information from all over the world. It's like, oh, this is something that's important to go to. And then we have event partners where each of these event partners, we said, hey, if you want to be an event partner, come on board, work with us. We'll get you publicity at the event. We'll have a really awesome experience for all of the people you're bringing. Just have 10 tickets. Now, by each person saying, yeah, I'll take 10 tickets, either they're going to buy it up front at like, $27 for each ticket, or they're going to basically just, go out and promote it to the people they have, and they'll get like a special rate to come on board. We just finished the early bird rate, which is, how we got, I think, to the high number right now. But basically by doing that, it's really about how much we're adding value to everyone in the community. And if I am in Brisbane and I see all these different people who've got companies in Brisbane, I'm like, I probably should go to that, right? Because like I'll miss out if I don't. Rather than you going out trying to do something where it's only you. So always be thinking as well, to what extent when someone coming to something and saying, I don't know who this person is, or why would I do this? Or who can you actually partner with and work with, where it will be of value to them, it will be of value to you as well. So by setting it up in this way and planning it out, that's really helped us a lot. And they've helped us a lot to actually fill up the event. And then you're also coming from a place of trust, where not someone isn't coming just to check us out so they don't know us. They're coming to know they're invited by someone who already actually values them. And obviously you saw that over the weekend. There's so many people who here came as a result of somebody else, which is always the best way when you're getting started. So another way of saying this is what we're doing with our events is not too different from what at a totally different scale Amazon is doing with Whole Foods. You get to a certain scale where people say, I'm tired of just everything everywhere. Give me something relevant to me here. Everyone's looking for belonging today, right? We're seeing this in the way that governments are playing out and nationalism playing out, right? So I want a sense of belonging because we're all in the sea of sameness. So be really aware that if you're just trying to grow like leverage and you haven't really built intimacy into what you're doing yet, you might find it way easier to double your revenues by actually saying, let's actually just get much more focused at a sense of place in what I'm doing. So it's not all just out there in the sea, right? And I think many of you will find that the easiest way to be able to launch the next step of what you're doing is choose the where before you get too carried away with the what and the how, right? So just take a moment, just with that, like with the sharing that we went through. And for those who are listening on the call at the moment, we're super looking forward to being there next week. We learned a lot this week being here in Johannesburg around just interacting and bringing all the stories out. And how cool are all the stories of the entrepreneurs on stage, right? And there's so many like really great stories that are here, which can't help but make you feel great about it. Because frankly, if all you hear are stories of Richard Branson or Bill Gates or whatever, it's not even relevant because you're like, well, they're not even in our country, right? So the more you're local, the more that makes a difference too. One final thing I just want to share on this is that so many of the stories that we've been posting have been also very relevant to the country. So before South Africa, we had about 5 or 6 stories, which are all South African entrepreneur stories. Before Brisbane, we're doing the same thing. When we go to England, we've now got 10 stories between now and the end of January, which are all British entrepreneurs that then actually then allow people to really relate as well from a very local point. So take a moment and just share with the person next to you what's your biggest like learning from this session. And same if you're online, just post it under comments.
Looking forward to new genius. So when you can have those
Yeah. We're looking for a leader, city leader.
Going to go back to Singapore and back to Brisbane. So Brisbane next week, and then next weekend. I think I'll be there for maybe. Yeah. It's amazing, right? It's incredible.
For Christmas.
Oh, Singapore. Oh, I don't know. I think we've got to really get the entrepreneur socials going first. Yeah, I mean that's the good thing about having entrepreneur socials. We can find out which are the ones that actually are most active, and then really any fast forwards will be very good. But we can't actually do more fast forwards because like it's just time wise. It's just whether we may not do as many in Australia, we might do like one in Brisbane or whatever, and then maybe another one in Europe or something like that. But we just kind of like and we might rotate so we fast forward every second year.
Someone needs to lead it. Like a city leader.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing. We're going to open this up on a volunteer basis. Anyone here who got like something actionable or learning or something to see your business differently? Who would like to share a particular learning that came out of today? Yeah, okay, we're coming back to Louise. All right.
I just, I've realized that I know nothing about Facebook advertising. And yeah, just I run competitions and they're very popular. The bride loves to say, win 100 save the date magnets. And they love it. They share it, thousands of people share it, but I'm not doing anything. You know, I get maybe 5 or 6 people going to my website and actually then saying, we'd like some. So I might sell 4, but I think if I collected the email addresses.
Have a look at this. See over there? Big badges. Oh. This is just a company in Israel that says, you know what, we can just create little badges for social media, like social media. So you can put the actual badge on. You can just create your own little badge and you can put it on your profile. You know, so if someone has a cause, you know, if there's a sporting event, if there's like a charity fundraise, everyone can actually go out there and create their little badge. It's not popular. 2.1 million people that are watching this, right? So your ability to say, hey, we've got the graphics for badges already. You know, let's really look at how. And I was saying this. I was like, I want to have badges for every Wealth Dynamics profile. I want to have badges for every, purpose. So you could actually have different badges. You can put in your bag. You can actually have as kind of a badge of honor for what you do. It's absolutely right. Yeah. So to be really thinking about that whole aspect of identity, that people will be posting things for that reason, for companies to do that as well, where they'll be posting it because they're a part of some kind of a cause that others want to share as well. It's definitely the way to go, right? So definitely something great for the future to do. That's good. No, it's all learning. Who else would like to share? Learning? Yeah.
Thank you. Right, guys. So thank you, Roger. So I think the biggest learning for me in the context of Tontrak, the software as a service business, was I've already got got just slightly less than 10 customers, but they corporate customers. So they're giving me $1 million a month in turnover. But inside those customers, I've got 30 minds that are using my product, and I've got several hundred people that are engaged in the software platform from different angles. So there's a community out there already that I should be engaging with, and I never thought that using social media applied to my business, but I realize now it's actually very important for me to use it as a tool to engage with those guys, because they become ambassadors of my product to other people in other minds.
You get them in a session time, give them a way to get certified to be at a high level, and then you leave the company they're in and go to another company. They'll say, hey, we still want to use the same system, right?
Yeah.
So then you take that from my bottom-up approach. Really, really
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks.
Final sharing, who might take one word here, would be shy.
Take it fine.
Do it.
So I'm a star and thinking of sitting in front of a Facebook page doing all of this kind of stuff.
You don't have to do it. Yeah,
okay.
I didn't do all this stuff.
Okay. Perfect. We'll talk about that.
But let me ask you then, can you see yet how you could make this within your business, for example?
Sure. I mean, you've got 10,000 Twitter followers, but I don't do anything.
Yeah. So they're all going on now, right?
Yeah.
So let's just take this as a quick case study. So you're on Facebook already?
Yeah.
So the bigger one would be Scully Scooters, maybe? Okay. All right. So here's Scully Scooters. This is there, right? But does everyone who's part of Scully Scooters, do they have anywhere they get connected in at the moment, or not at the moment? They don't, right? Okay, so you could definitely set up a group that they could all be a part of, right? When they are part of this, what do you call someone who is like at the point where they're getting a certificate and they can now actually be one of your team?
Certified rider.
A certified rider.
Certified rider.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're the only certified.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now you have someone, and then you call them a certified rider. So and then like that's a badge of honor for someone, right? If they're actually that already, yeah. But I think you need to come up with something. Whether you call it like I don't know, what would you call someone Scully Scooter? I'm looking for a word. There's going to be a word of some sort where. Yeah. I mean, like, even if something basic like like a Scully Scooty, right? Or like so like they have to have something that's like I am a. They're not going to say I am a certified rider, right? But if you were something like I am a Scully rider, right? And you actually had a logo of what it is to be a Scully rider, right? And you basically then Scala, right? Yeah. Like we have genius ninjas, right? Being a Scully ninja, right? If you have something, right? Or if you were to create a tribe, right, which is called Scully's Heroes, right? And the moment that you actually end up in here, you're a certified Scully hero, and so then you're a Scully hero. You put that on your page. You tell other people this is who I am, right? And then you have your award, which is basically what was that?
It's for Wild Rider.
Wild Rider, right? Wild Rider. So and then once you have that, you then have your awards, right? Top 10, voted like right. So every time they're going out seeing people, they're getting like it's like hey, click here to say like a like, right? Because we've got them all, and then so then they're all going out, they're collecting from others as well. But everyone's like, how cool is this? And they then become you have 1,600 of them, right? Like they're out there every day and be singing your praises if you make them heroes. And that alone means you don't have to go spend lots of money on Facebook advertising because they're all out there making that happen for you and bringing not just more scooter riders in, but actually companies that want to actually support it as well, right? And then you actually can then say, right, who are the top companies that are actually supporting Scully's Heroes? And then those companies say, hey, and then you give them awards as well for actually providing that extra value too. And it becomes a movement off the back of it. Yeah. Okay, guys. Right. Well, I hope everyone had a great time getting connected. This is the next part. We're going to have some lunch, but do get connected to each other as well. We have a super duper exciting year ahead with everybody as well. Thank you, everyone who have checked in for this call. I hope that's a bit different from what our normal weekly call is for all of our EFT partners, but we will be seeing you next week, which is really, really going to be exciting. And we'll be sharing a lot of the learnings we got from just being here in Johannesburg as well. So thanks very much to everybody. And we will turn off our live stream now. So goodbye. Oh, let's just turn around and just say a big cheer from everyone. Bye. Bye. All right. Bye. Very cool.